Live Impact News right here. A live look right now at CMS headquarters on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Time now is 2:11. The reason why we're showing you a live look right there is because we have Julie Kay in studio. And, you know, when Julie's here, we know she's going to talk about a budget or the government or something. And
everyone's favorites.
Everyone's favorites, the top hits, Julie. And you're actually talking about the CMS budget because they have a pretty tight deadline on when to pass this, which you were telling me earlier is Friday. So let's talk about it and what it all entails.
Well, and so what's really interesting about this budget process is the board voted against Dr. Crystal Hill's initial proposal, the superintendent, at the end of April. And so she has had multiple meetings with them since then that we've been to work through their concerns, namely being, you know, mental health support, equity among students and schools, and also just the uncertainty of state funding. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, lower enrollment this year means that they're going to get less money from the state. That's just how it works. And so they're already dealing with a limited amount of funding. On top of that, the state, as I've been in here multiple times saying, does not have a budget currently. Lawmakers are over a year past their deadline at this point to pass a budget, which means we don't know about teacher pay raises. They're in the short session right now. If lawmakers were to pass pay raises for teachers, CMS has 2,700 locally funded positions. They would obviously want to match those raises, but they'd have to go to the county to do that. And so Dr. Hill's in this predicament of having to create a budget with that in mind. She's assuming they're going to pass a 3% raise because historically that's what's been most common. But some of the bills out there are up to 9% raises for teachers, which sounds awesome. We know our teachers need raises desperately. But then that leaves CMS in kind of a lurch. And so she's having to try and move things around to find, you know, a cushion for if this happens, what can we do to make sure we can get to at least 4.5–5% if that were to happen. Likelihood of lawmakers passing a 9% raise for teachers is very slim. But it is quite possible that it's more than 3%, assuming they come to a decision soon. They only have until this Friday, the school board does, to present that to the county. And so there's no chance that the state is going to pass anything before then. So they're going to have to decide on a budget for the school system before they really know how much money they're going to have to spend. And so that's the core of this. I know that's a lot of
it's a lot
moving parts. But
absolutely.
It's leaving them in a really sticky situation, and that's one of the many reasons that this budget process has been so stressful. So tonight they are expected to vote on her revised plan. But I mean, if the board doesn't like it, there's only a few more days for them to do anything really. And so they can't really postpone it any longer.
Right. You know, and we just did see teachers head up to Raleigh for that rally to have more money in these budgets, right? I know that, you know, you have the pulse on the government, really. You're expert at this stuff. Where are we at with state budget? What is your feeling in all of this?
So there have been some rumors, even some that have been addressed by some lawmakers, that 3% is the way that lawmakers are going to go. I don't know how soon they're going to be able to do that at this point. I mean, because we've been saying for, months and months that, we're getting close, and then we don't. There's no votes currently scheduled, but the rumor is that 3% is the way they're going to go. In CMS's case, that would be a good thing, because that would be within their budget constraints. But in the grand scheme of, is that what teachers want? No, absolutely not. I mean, considering where North Carolina stacks up in terms of others around even the region. I mean, we talked a lot about how teachers in our area will drive down to South Carolina to get paid more and have better benefits. And so there's all sorts of moving parts to this. I don't know when they're going to make a decision. I'm curious to see if 3% is the way they're going to go. Only thing I feel sure about is that they're not going to decide before CMS has to.
Okay. Julie, I'm going to ask you a whole other question that is not even on this topic. I know that you were at the city council meeting last night. Walker Lawson was there. I also talked to Walker about this. First city council meeting where the mayor was there, who just addressed that she would not finish out her term. I just want to get your take because I got his take on it. What was that like in that city council meeting? Are we seeing people, like I said to Walker, puffing out their chest more because they want this spot as the mayor? And also, how was the mayor acting in the city council meeting as well?
she addressed it right off the top, briefly, but she did kind of, reiterate some of the things we saw in the statement from her campaign of spending more time with family. And I think people were grateful that she, was, there for that entirety of the 7-hour meeting or whatever it was. I mean, what a way to come back after that. And addressed it right off the top, and then, kind of got straight to business from there. So it wasn't a very long acknowledgement, but it was what was necessary. In terms of what we're going to see from council now and what we saw last night, I think it will be very interesting to see not only who is maybe, puffing out their chest and wanting to fill that role, but who wants to fill that role permanently and who's more willing to maybe fill that role in the interim. Because the likelihood of it being someone on council to fill it in the interim, I think, is a lot smaller. They want someone, I think everyone that I've spoken to wants someone from the outside.
Sure.
Who has experience in government, but someone that they don't have to fill their seat as well, and someone who then wouldn't have a leg up if they were to run again.
Exactly.
And so that gives us about 1.5 years of posturing potentially. And so I think that leaves us in a position for a very interesting rest of this term. And I think last night, touching on some of the hottest topics that I-77, that was wild.
Yep.
Data centers, the biggest talker, I think, in communities other than I-77. And then the budget being, just the cost of living right now. And those are going to be the 3 things that I think we see the most posturing around anyway. And so it'll be really interesting to see over the next, that's the thing, is it's not even a couple months. It's a literal year and a half, a long time of this. And so I think it's going to put us in a really interesting position.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. Love your take. Thank you so much on that, Julie.